Hello everyone, welcome to GS Score. I am Abhishek Saxena. So, in this series of current affairs through MCQ for governance, we have been taking up the questions based on the current affairs over the past months. So, let us look at the very first question for today. The question says, which of the following statement is incorrect regarding cooperatives in India? So if we look at cooperatives, we have various groups, associations, etc. as part of the development industry and development processes which are mentioned in the syllabus for the mains examination. And the syllabus for the mains gives us the clue for the prelims. So let us examine the statement and we need to find out the incorrect one. State cooperative banks are set up in rural areas as apex level lending structures. Yes, that is correct. You have regional rural banks as well as the cooperative banks being set up at the rural level to provide microcredit, also to link SHGs, etc. There was this NABARD SHG bank linkage program. So this statement is correct. The products of cooperatives can be sold out via government platforms. Yes, that is also correct. The GEM marketplace allows the cooperatives to sell their products. The next, the cooperative societies are not subject to any inquiry. Well, that is incorrect. Let us examine the fourth statement as well. Dairy and agricultural societies are major cooperatives in India. Yes, that is also true. So this is the answer. So answer is option C. Also, the 97th Constitutional Amendment Act basically dealt with the issue of the effective management of the cooperative societies. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following. India is a signatory to the UN Convention Against Corruption 2005. Yes, India is. Public servants in India can be penalized for corruption under the Indian Penal Code. Well, that is correct because we have the Prevention of Corruption Act as well. Hence, this statement might confuse you, but it is correct to the extent that multiple laws tackle corruption. While PCA is the principal law, Indian Penal Code also has provisions vis-a-vis corruption. Other things are, let us say, Money Laundering Act, etc. So this statement is correct. Next, the third statement. The Benami transactions in India are exempted for women's name in the family. Well, that is incorrect because the Benami Transaction Act of 1988 prohibits any Benami transaction. Okay? Except only when a person purchases property in his wife or unmarried daughter's name. Right? So, wife or daughter, not mother. Okay? And it is not exempted per se. False impersonation, etc. is again a crime. So this statement is incorrect. We need to find the correct answer. So 1 and 2 are correct and hence the correct option would be option C. Moving on. Consider the following with reference to right of persons with disability. So if we look at the vulnerable sections, governance and social justice, GS paper 2. right? So people with disability or divyangs are important as part of the government initiatives. So let us look at the statements. States can reserve seats for a specific employment in consideration to persons with disability. Yes, that is correct. We have reservations both within the states as well as at the central level, depending upon various positions and services for the disabled. Establishment of special courts in every district is proposed under the Persons with Disability Act. Well, that is correct. The act was passed in the year 2016 and it envisages basically that there shall be special courts. Okay. In news, this was, in news, when the Ministry of Railways decided to use the terminology Divyangjan to Hindi and replace the term persons with disability in its communication. Okay. So that is something which is important for us to note. So since both the statements are correct and we need to find the correct one, and hence the answer is option C. Option C. Moving on. Consider the following statements. In India, statistics concerning industrial accidents are produced by Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Well, this statement is incorrect as industrial accidents comes under the purview of the Labor Bureau. Okay. Basically, it compiles the data, whether it is railways, mines, factories, construction work, etc. So, labor codes were in news. 4 labor codes were there. One was relating to the occupational safety, health and working conditions. So, the Code on Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions 2020 fixes the maximum daily work hour limit at 8 hours per day. Yes, that is correct. India has ratified ILO's Labour Statistics Convention 1985, but not the Labour Inspection Convention 1947. This statement is incorrect. India has ratified both. Right. So we have 1 and 3 as incorrect statements and we need to find the correct one. So only second statement is correct. Hence the answer is option B. Option B. Moving on. Consider the following statements with reference to the PM Mitra Parks scheme. Again, a scheme in focus. It aims to integrate entire textile value chain at one location. Well, that is correct. The PM Mitra Park scheme is basically in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 9. Building resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industrialization, foster innovation. So the idea was of 5F, that is farm to fiber, fiber to factory, factory to fashion, and fashion to foreign. So the idea is to develop integrated large scale modern industrial facilities. So this is correct. Second statement, the PM Mitra Park will be developed by special purpose vehicle which will be owned by the central and state governments in PPP mode. Yes, this is also correct. Such a Mitra Park will have incubation centers, processing houses, treatment plants and other textile related facility. Okay, so that is correct. There will be a developer in conjunction with the state and central governments which will develop the park. Third, there will be no direct capital support for the development of park under the scheme. Well, that is incorrect. And by the logic of second statement itself, this becomes incorrect in the sense that center will provide capital support for the development of common infrastructure and rupees 500 crore for each greenfield Mitra Park and 200 crore for each brownfield Mitra Park is supposed to be provided under the scheme. So third statement is incorrect. We need to find the correct statements. 1 and 2 are correct and hence the answer is option A. Option A. Moving on. Which of the following statements regarding the Agnipath scheme are correct? So Agnipath scheme was in news for defense services, right? And the personnel recruited under this are called Agniveers. Recently, the Ministry of Defense is highly popularizing this. The idea is to keep the forces lean and young and utilize the young energies. Okay. So let us look at these statements. It is a scheme of Ministry of Defense for recruiting personnel of officers rank. Well, it is largely related to the non-officers and not for the officers. So this statement is incorrect. Second, the objective of the scheme is to reduce defense pension bill. Yes, it is one of the objectives. So we have second statement that is correct and we need to find the correct statement and hence the answer is option B. Option B. Next question. It is classified as a minor forest produce under the Forest Rights Act and is often referred to as green gold. Identify the described plant produce. So if you remember this, there are certain themes which are popular vis-a-vis forest rights. The issue in Kerala of buffer zones, right? Man-animal conflict, etc. So it is very important for us to keep a tab on these things. Green gold. Okay, so this was in news for the reason that the tribal residents in 50 villages of Chhattisgarh basically decided to file an FIR when they, their collection of the tendu leaves called as green gold was in a way confiscated and hence this was in news. So the answer is option B. Option B. Tendu leaves. Next question. Again, something related to the Forest Rights Act. Consider the following statements. Gram Panchayat determines the nature and extent of individual and community forest rights as per the Act. Well, interestingly, it is the Gram Sabha and not Panchayat. So this statement is incorrect. The Act provides for a right to intellectual property over traditional knowledge related to biodiversity. Yes, that is correct. And we need to look at it in conjunction with the scheduled tribes and other traditional forest dwellers recognition of Forest Rights Act 2006. So this is what we are talking about. So if we know this, the actual real name, we can better answer this question. Third statement, the act defines critical wildlife habitat and vests power only in the central government to declare area as a critical wildlife habitat. Yes, that is correct. It is the central government which can determine the critical wildlife habitat. Okay. And the idea was in news because the Chhattisgarh government again became only the second state in the country to recognize community forest resource rights of villages inside a national park. Okay, so that is important. Hence, we have statement 2 and 3 as correct. The correct option would be option D. Option D. Next, consider the following statements regarding Ayushman Bharat Digital Health Mission. Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. Obviously, we are talking about health. It aims to provide digital health IDs for all Indian citizens to access health records electronically when required. Yes, it creates things like DigiDoctor, etc. So the patient ID, etc. are there. Also, if we look at portability, has emerged as a theme. So one nation, one ration card, right? So this sort of portability where a common citizen can get government facilities, whether that person is a migrant traveling from one city to another, etc., is the theme to go. And hence this statement is correct. Second statement, participation in the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission is voluntary for citizens but compulsory for healthcare facilities. Well, no, it is not. It is not compulsory for healthcare facilities. Participation of healthcare facilities is also voluntary because the management might decide to participate or not. So that is incorrect. Again, ABDM does not onboard healthcare facilities and healthcare professionals from Ayush system of medicine. No, that is not the case. They do take in Ayush and other, Ayush and included systems of alternate medicines. So this statement is also incorrect. We need to find the correct ones. The correct one here is only the first one, and hence the answer is option A. Option A. Last but not the least, with reference to National Family Health Survey 5, consider the following statements. Please keep a tab on National Family Health Survey 5 and its findings. Also things like ACER report, etc. Right? So they help you crack certain questions in the examination. The first statement, there was an increase in the overall rate of child marriages in National Family Health Survey 5 as compared to National Family Health Survey 4. Well, this statement is incorrect. Okay, because a drop has been indicated. Next, the percentage of women aged 15 to 49 with anemia increased in 2019-21 compared to 2015-16. Well, this statement is correct. This statement is correct. So if we look at the data, it was 57% in 2019-21 and 53% in 2015-16 period. So this statement is incorrect. This statement is correct. I beg your pardon. Last, more women than men are overweight in India. This is also correct, and this was one of the interesting findings of the National Family Health Survey 5, because usually it was considered that women are lesser overweight vis-a-vis in numbers, in absolute numbers vis-a-vis men, but this finding of National Family Health Survey 5 burst that sort of a myth. So we have statement 3 and 2 correct, and the first one is incorrect, and we need to find the correct one, and hence the answer would be option B. Option B. So this was the last question for this session. You can attempt many more such questions and interesting current affairs based exercises on our website by clicking the link in the description or scanning this QR code. That's all. Thank you.